all this about?
I love her, man.
Oh, yeah? Man, let me tell you. I don't want no honky in my family. You dig? No honky in my family. See what I mean? Louis really caused the scene. I tell you, ain't no difference between black or white. Brothers, you know what I mean.
All right. You're up. Go ahead, Nah. We're really loud?
Yeah.
All right, mine's low.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi. Where are we at? What we doing?
Podcast.
And who are you?
Savannah.
And who are you?
Sadie.
And what do y'all love?
Donuts.
All right.
Donuts.
How about daddies? Do you love daddies?
Yes.
All right. And who's that?
Mr. B.
And who am I?
Daddy.
And what are we about to do? It's
The
time to what?
podcast.
It's time to what?
The podcast.
Or
With donuts.
no
Not
donuts.
donuts. We don't have donuts.
No donuts involved.
We do not have
You
donuts.
can't yell into it. You're going to break their ears. You're going to break the ears of the people.
5 people left the chat.
All right, listen. You guys go downstairs and get some donuts.
Yeah. I want a donut.
All right.
Oh, well, that was perfect. They did a
That
very good
went
job.
exactly how I figured it would.
Yeah, I actually thought it was right to plan.
All right. Now let me make sure all my situation is situated.
Get your situation situated.
Who's the intro guy?
Am I the intro guy?
I guess you are.
Well, let's go back and forth, and I'll welcome you to the Gutter Basic Mathematic Calculations podcast, or possibly the. You want to go back and forth with
Oh,
this?
you
I got
mean-
a few.
You mean welcome to Glamorous Men Bake Cakes?
Okay. I was gonna say maybe the Get Buck Money Chaser podcast.
Well, you know we stream live in Jamaica where it's Gully Basta Monday Chatter. Gunman Buck Chat.
That's nice, man. I like that one. How about the Gamecocks Malarkey chat?
That's what it is. This is the Gamecocks Malarkey Chat.
Or just Great Buds making commentary?
Perfect.
Huh?
Perfect.
You like that?
Here we
how
are.
about welcome to my great big manic cycle? How's that one?
All right, let's slow down before you get in over your head and you can't explain yourself.
What's up, man?
Nothing.
Okay.
I just don't want you to go too deep. I mean, you started going real personal there.
Did I get personal? How about all right? Let's fade
I
it
don't
back.
want you-
What if
listen.
we do it? What if we call it the Giggle Butt Master Chief podcast?
I don't want you to get like too deep in and then wind up talking about giant boners made by Carradine.
Okay.
All
right,
right.
dude. That's a really good one, dude.
All right, I'm merculated over here.
Your time for the Merculator?
Time for the merculator. So,
What you
what's
mean
going
about
on?
that?
Talk to me.
I think it sounds good. You want me to just talk to you about maybe my weekend? Or maybe what I did this
What did
weekend?
you do this weekend? I last saw you on Friday afternoon
Was it Friday afternoon? Yeah, it was Friday
when
afternoon.
we
Yeah.
almost wrapped up. We finished that deck today.
I saw the video. It looked really good. The post came out good on the steps there.
Yeah, it was a little. That post on the steps was a little bit of a headache,
Yeah.
but made it happen.
You did.
So-
That's what you do. You're the captain of making it happen. That's what they call you.
On some days,
Yeah, most days, I think, right? More than some.
most
Was it Friday afternoon? Yeah, it was.
Whoops.
Friday.
Whoa.
Yo, technical difficulties.
rookie move.
Payday wouldn't have done that.
No, absolutely not.
He wouldn't have done that at all.
But listen, here's the.
You know what? I got a problem with Payday. I was listening last week. Yo,
Again with it.
Okay, you figured it out?
We got to think of a GBMC that has to do with technical difficulties.
Yeah, man. I'm already tapped out with the GBMC. Let's do that one for next week.
No. That's what I'm saying. We got to think
for
of one.
next week. We have a technical difficulty.
Yeah. So talk to me. You got something on your brain?
Yeah. Well, I just want to run down. I got something to get to at the end of this that's important that I want to kind of talk to you and gauge what you feel about it.
Okay.
But I just kind of want to talk to you about a great day that I had on Saturday where I had a sitter. Actually, my daughter went to a funeral, which actually worked out perfectly because I don't see her all that often. So it's good when she does a thing that and then I get to do a thing as well. So I got to see Hall & Oates at this Hoagie Nation festival.
You went, and so I thought you were going to see them.
No, I saw
this
them.
Saturday.
I saw them last Saturday. This great festival. We pull up. Me and Miles go. We get there. They got as soon as we get there, they have a whole spread of maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 different local hoagie places with free hoagies that you can try.
Sweet. All from the city or all over the tri-state
mostly
area?
the city, like these top Philly's best hoagie places. I think Primo's had one, but they also had a bunch of other places too.
Right.
And some of them had one hoagie, some of them had 2 hoagies. So I went crazy with my carb intake because I can't say no to free food, the broke guy in me.
Yeah.
And so I had about maybe 9 half hoagies,
Sweet.
So I had to get down. Some of them were absolutely phenomenal, especially this chicken, buffalo chicken pepperoni one with some really sharp provolone on it. It was top notch.
That sounds solid. Where did it come from?
I don't know because there were still a lot of people there. So really what they were trying to get done and accomplish there wasn't accomplished.
Didn't work,
people
right.
were just shoving their faces and there were so many people in the way.
Right. I'm
Anyway.
sure they were figuring that they were going off. They were going to have some free promotion by doing this hoagie thing. And as it turned out, you didn't care who the hoagie came from. You just wanted a free hoagie.
Yeah, because I'm not going to go out and eat a hoagie. What am I, some kind of fat loser? I'm just going to eat free hoagies at this concert. What am I going to do? I went to the Rita's Water Ice truck, and it was $7 for a small water ice.
That sounds like a festival price.
Yeah, it was a festival
Where
price.
was this at?
This was at the Mann Center, which I've only been to one time prior, and it is a great place to see a show, honestly.
Is that the joint out west?
Yeah, it's like almost Montgomery
Park?
County
No.
past. Yeah, Fairmount Park. Yep. That's it.
It's in Fairmount Park?
I believe it is, yeah.
Well, then it wouldn't be Montgomery County.
But it seemed like Montgomery County because I was going out west.
Okay.
All
yeah,
right.
no. I think it's
It
in
was like
Fairmount.
past the zoo.
Okay.
A while past the zoo. In my head, anyway. I know I passed the zoo coming back.
Maybe it's not in.
It is Fairmount Park.
Okay.
So maybe geographically I'm unaware of things, which is totally possible.
Well, I think that's probably your brain is occupied with other things.
I got other
Geography
things on my mind.
isn't
Geography
necessarily
is not one of the things.
Oh no, I don't want to do that.
What did you do?
It just asked me if I wanted to shut down all the streams.
Well, don't do that. I didn't even get to tell my Hall & Oates story yet.
All right, so talk to me about Hall & Oates.
All right, so I'm going to give you a quick rundown of everything because there was some really cool shit that happened in it and some really whack shit that happened at it. So we get there, and down north is this local band that I actually tried to book a long time ago, but they've gotten way bigger. And
What do
they're
they
really
play?
Cool. They don't play anything because they're a local band.
No, but stylistically.
It's very funk-driven, Motowny, cool, heavy shit. But they
Okay.
were sick, and the lead singer was a heavy-set man who had incredible Michael Jackson-like dance moves, and he really was a
Nice.
master of
I like
ceremony.
that.
So he killed it. There wasn't a lot of people there. Me and Miles set up our lawn chairs. We kind of just sat there and enjoyed the show.
Right.
So they killed it. Then I'm trying to remember who came second. So they had 2 different stages, but we stayed at the one stage, which is like a standing room only stage, so we could be up close if we wanted to. Kool and the Gang was what headlined that stage. Okay.
Okay.
So it was important to
I
be
like
by
that.
stage.
Yeah, I like that.
What we missed at the other stage was the Wailers, but we still kind of heard them a little bit. But Bob Marley's dead body wasn't on stage,
It's
so we
not
really
the
didn't
same.
care.
Yeah. The Whalers is cool. That's cool that you could see them, but okay, here's the thing.
Okay, talk to me.
I think that in my current state of being, I'm going to pick Kool and the Gang.
Yeah.
Now, if I was inside of a sector of my life where I was smoking reefer on
You
a
would've
regular
picked the
basis,
Whalers.
I would have went over to the Whalers. Or maybe
But
if I
Kool
was
and the Gang
smoking
didn't-
weed that day.
So the sets were on 2 different stages. One was at the main center at the Mann Center, which is like a big theater, very similar to like the Tweeter or something like
Right,
that, or whatever
right.
it is now, 4 names later.
BB&T Pavilion, maybe?
Yeah, the last thing I remember was Susquehanna Bank, so obviously I'm dated.
Right.
But so we sat at this main stage because most of the things that we wanted to see were at the main stage, and then, of course, we wanted to see Hall & Oates, who's one of the greatest hit makers of all time, and it was a joy to see them, but I'll get to that. I believe the next act was Craig Robinson and the Nasty Delicious. Are you familiar at all with Craig Robinson's musical career?
Isn't Craig Robinson a comedian?
Yeah, he was in Hot Tub Time Machine, The
Yeah.
Office,
I know
and a bunch
who
of
he
other
is.
stuff. So he was really good. So we were very interested in seeing him. He was absolutely hilarious, and me and Miles were a part of his set, essentially.
How did that happen?
He comes out. I give him, I see him when he walks on stage, and I'm like, Craig, what up, Craig?
What up, Craig?
And he kind of has his water bottle and his phone in his hand, and he kind of gives me a head nod. So I already feel
you
like
were
I'm part of it.
By
right?
the fact that he waved to you, you were basically
you
were a
set.
major part of the set.
Yeah. Out of everyone I was right up there with Down North. I was right there at that
Right
point.
in the mix, right.
So then he comes on stage and he says, yeah, y'all here to see Hall & Oates, and y'all here to see all the other bands, right? But Squeeze, what's going on? Oh, this is nice. So he comes out and he says, you guys here to see Hall & Oates, you guys here to see the Wailers, you guys here to see Kool and the Gang, and he forgets Squeeze, which I wouldn't remember Squeeze either. They had the song Tempted by a fruit of another.
Yeah, okay,
that's Squeeze.
yeah.
But that's the only song anyone really knows unless they were dancing in the 80s, right? So they had so Craig Robinson comes out and he doesn't remember Squeeze. So he's like, who am I forgetting? And Miles looks at him and he goes and he squeezes himself and he goes, Squeeze. And then Craig goes, oh, Squeeze, right? So now we're fucking in. Me and Miles are looking at each other. We both got glare in our eyes and we're ready to.
It's like he was ready to probably going to bring you backstage.
We're
to
all
the green
getting our
room.
dick sucked.
Yeah.
And
or sucking dick.
Yeah. And listen. Okay.
Craig Robinson's a handsome man.
No, he's not. But when in Rome, or when in Fairmount Park, or wherever we are geographically.
Right.
And then there was a couple other things. Swoop came on stage with him. He said, what's his name? And I said, Swoop. And he went, Swoop. And
so you were feeding him.
So we had him, right?
Right.
And then he does this whole thing about, he did the Grease song, what's that? What's the Grease song? Like, tell me more, tell me more. And the girls were singing the guy's part, and he got angry, and he starts banging on the keys, right?
Right.
And he says, women, you bitches have every song. You guys got every song. It's like, you just let the men do the part. It's not wella, it's wella, right? So he gets mad at the bitches, and then he starts playing Here Comes the Bride, right?
Okay.
And he looks directly at me. Now, mind you, I'm front and center. I am this far away from him, as far as he's, 5 feet up in the air, but we're this far away from each other. And he looks directly at me and he says, sir, what's the name of that song? And I was trying to think if it had a real name. You know what I mean?
The Grease song.
No. Here Comes the Bride. He starts playing. Right. First he went in, at first I was afraid, I was petrified, because he wanted to talk about the bitches, how they have every song.
Okay.
And then he said, and they got this song too. And he starts playing Here Comes the Bride, Here Comes the Bride. And it didn't even occur to me right away what he was playing.
Right.
But then I started thinking, the name of the song's not Here Comes the Bride. It probably has some elaborate name.
Right.
But he's expecting me to know it. So I come back with, oh, Christmas Tree? And he goes, oh, Christmas Tree. And the whole band's cracking the fuck up. So we were really in, and we had a lot of people on us all night from that point. I don't remember who was after him, but Kool and the Gang came on, and they were fucking phenomenal. I mean, you're talking about 78-year-old men doing spins and dances with horns, and it was
Did they do, like, in Philly, in the heat of August, if they walked off that stage without doing Summer Madness, I'd be so disappointed.
They did not do Summer Madness.
That's disgusting, because Summer Madness isn't necessarily the Philly anthem, but it spawned a Philly anthem.
And they really should have done it in Philly. I agree.
Yeah,
completely.
Which, if you are listening and don't know what Summer Madness is, if you play it, Kool and the Gang, Summer Madness, you will immediately recognize that it is Summertime by Will Smith.
And DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Yeah. Now, let me tell you, hold your story, because I want to tell you about something. Did you go to the Live Aid Festival or Live 8?
No, I did not.
Okay. So this was probably like 12 years ago, 14 years ago. I was like 21-ish. Mm-hmm. And it was this huge concert on the Parkway. They said there was 1 million people there. I don't doubt it. I go with my buddy Larry and Shady. And it was jumping. We were all fucked up because we're 21. We're drinking. We're smoking. We're doing some other party favors.
Right.
And Will Smith was performing.
Oh, shit.
And he did, like, whatever he did. Fucking the Fresh Prince theme song.
Okay.
Which everybody sung word for
Did he
word.
do, not until the second verse, though. They forgot about the second verse. Did he do the second verse?
No, he didn't do the second verse.
Oh, that's good for him.
I think he did
I
Parents
beg
Just
and
Don't
plead with you, day
Understand.
after day. Okay.
He did like Men in Black.
Okay.
And then he ended off. Now this, again, mind you, this is the middle of July on the Parkway in Center City.
Yeah.
Free concert, 1 million people.
Right.
It drops in. Drums, please, right?
Yeah.
I have never seen something go crazy.
Right.
Like everybody hops up, starts screaming, hands are in the air, drinks are getting poured on people next to them, dicks come out. It was fucking wild, bro. I have never seen, out of all the shows and all the performances I ever seen, that one split my dick in two.
Yeah. Sometimes
I've
your
never
dick goes in half,
yeah,
like a
I've-
hot dog.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've never seen a performance that eluded, exhibited,
Exhibited, probably.
elated,
Okay, whatever.
annihilated that type of
Response. Yeah,
from
I
a
would
crowd
imagine
as
so.
that. It was phenomenal.
You know what was
I wish I
weird?
could live it again.
They didn't do Summer Madness. Miles was pissed that they didn't do Summer Madness, but you don't understand that they have so many fucking hits. But here's
forget,
the part
I'm
where
sure,
you
yeah.
get to me on this is because they did bam, bam, ba-dum, bam, 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 and then they did
Oh, they did DJ Cool.
Yeah, well, no, the
Let Me
Bad
Clear
Boy
My
song.
Throat.
The Bad Boy. Remember when Mace did it? He talking about going out head.
Yeah,
left,
yeah,
head.
but that's also
it's also
DJ
Cool. But
Let Me
they
Clear My
did.
Throat.
So they stopped in the middle of their set.
And then Mace came out?
No.
Oh.
And then they did a little bit of playing that song, and everyone was like jamming. And Gritty comes out, right? And does and Gritty was hilarious. Gritty
Right.
was really great. I know that they were doing like a real Philly Hoagie Nation thing.
Yeah.
But so anyway, Kool and the Gang has nothing but hits too, and they were right to headline their own stage.
Okay.
Then, so they were fucking phenomenal. Then we go over, Squeeze is on. Mind you, we're
What
walking.
does Squeeze do?
Squeeze did Tempted, and that they did
That's it.
Pulling Muscles from a Shell. My mom knew who they were because she was dancing in the 80s, but everyone
Right.
else
Was your mom
doesn't.
there?
No.
She just told you.
She told me that I should know who
posthumously.
Squeeze is,
Yeah.
and I didn't care.
Yeah.
But when the Tempted came on, me and Miles walked around and we sang the song, right? But
You know who
during-
else your mom knows?
Cove.
Sean Cove.
Yeah, he
Your
does.
mom
Yes, she
knows
does.
Sean Cove.
Yep, she's the one that put the satin on your panties. So anyway, so we're as we're walking back and forth in the Whalers, we're getting a drink, going to the bathroom, whatever, and this guy keeps accosting us about his liberal agenda, and he just wants. The first thing he says, that you know it's a red flag, is I don't want to get into politics, and then
Yeah,
it's but.
right. But
And
let
then-
me get into politics.
And then he talked about all the things that he likes to watch, which is all liberal agenda nonsense, which is most
Yeah, but
of
where
most of the
was this
media.
coming from?
This was just out of nowhere. Me and Miles were doing elephant walks while the Whalers were playing.
Yeah.
So he just wanted to totally ruin our fun and
Yeah.
talk to us about politics.
Yeah.
And then went on like this huge rant about how he hates Jimmy Fallon because when he had President Trump on, he didn't fucking give him the business and all this shit. And it was just nonsense.
Right.
You're not getting anything out of me on that because I love President Trump because I don't give him any merit.
He's a fun show.
He's a hilarious show.
Yeah.
And now you notice now on CNN, now that they don't have President Trump to talk about, it's all about the non-vaccinated people and how
Right,
they're going
right.
to ruin the country. Because
Trump's minions.
they
if you
need
will.
a new boogeyman,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that's where they're at with their boogeyman talk. Anyway, the guy kept on coming up to us. Fast forward, we're back at Squeeze. We set up the lawn chairs behind this guy. We're talking to him and his wife. They seem pretty cool. We don't really care about Squeeze. Squeeze comes on, and we realize that the sound's not that good. So we're like, yo, let's sneak down there. Let's get down there. Like, it can't be that hard to get down into the man.
Now,
know,
you
like-
want to get down there to get closer to the sound, or you and Miles think that now, again, you could hop in and help the show along
Well, we're not
by
gonna get
maybe
that
getting
close.
to the sound man and helping him tweak the levels?
We do think in the
Because
back of our
you
mind.
seem like the assholes who really feel like you are the
We
thing that's
belong
keeping
there.
this show going at
Yeah,
this
well,
point.
because we were, and as we were elephant walking, people had their cameras out, taking pictures of us. We were making people laugh.
Right,
We were
superstars.
fucking magnetic.
Doing what
at this
Miles
show.
and Biz do.
People remember us for a lifetime from us just attending that show.
Yeah.
And I'm not even blowing smoke.
Did
But
you happen to tell anybody about GBMC while you were being the popular kid?
I was too busy just totally crushing it,
Okay,
and I didn't
yeah.
really have to be too vocal in order to crush it. I do
right, very well,
apologize for
yeah.
that, but if we can get some shirts made up, maybe I could wear one as I'm bringing all the attention onto
How about
myself.
socks?
Socks are good. I wear a lot of socks. You know
If
me.
we handed out socks that were branded, people will remember that. Because people hand out T-shirts, you get business cards, but socks?
Yeah, yank the and socks that you can yank up high.
Yeah.
So you can see what's really going on there. We know we're all wearing shorts, you know?
Yeah.
So you can see what's going on. Anyway, so this guy we go over and sit behind this fat couple. We're talking to them. They seem very nice. I don't care why. I don't know why I called them fat, but they were very obese people.
Hey, it
And
is
he had
what
a
it
high-vis
is.
shirt on. We're talking about his high-vis shirt.
You're
yada,
a fat
yada, yada.
hater now that you're skinny.
I am. I'm getting skinnier, and as I get skinnier, I will become a larger and larger douchebag in the world that I live in.
Yes.
So we realize that we can get down to the stage, and it's a possibility that we get brought on stage, right, by Hall & Oates, because
Okay.
we are legends. in
That's
this
what
city.
you're looking for, really.
Well, that's what we're thinking is going to happen in the back of our heads.
Now, how
right?
did you play out? Like, did you and Miles discuss, hey, I think we can probably get Hall & Oates to bring us on stage? Did
So-
you map out a game plan?
Yeah, well, we
or
both
are you just
wrote,
both kind of thinking
when we,
this?
When we got there, we both wrote 16 bars to I Can't Go For That, just in case when they brought it up, they were like, is Biz and Miles in the house?
They're like, hey, did anybody
Did anybody write a 16 bar?
16? We have any MCs in the any rappers here?
Yeah. And
Any
then,
rappers in the Hall & Oates concert?
And then we raised our
please
hand.
stand up.
Right.
That's the first place. That's the first way that I ever rapped on stage.
was Hall & Oates?
No, it was Raekwon the chef.
Okay.
However, the whoever was hosting, which I probably now in hindsight, whoever it was is probably somebody I know, but at the time I was fresh home with just a book full of rhymes, and he was like, "We got any MC? I know we got some MCs out here," and I'm like, "What's up, dog? I'll rap." He was like, "All right, come on, I'm gonna let you spit your hottest 16," and then I spit a hot 16 and shut down the fucking Raekwon
Did
concert.
Raekwon not even rap after that?
And then I was like, "Look, I guess I got to keep. The people love it.
Yeah.
I have no choice but to keep doing it."
So what? So
and
what,
then
are the
so
people
I
not
did
loving
it.
it now?
I did it for 7 more months and then finished.
And then quit.
Yeah,
And then became the greatest contractor out of.
I'm pretty good at. No, I'm I'm not great at anything. I'm good at a lot of things.
That's good, man. That's good
You know?
that you're realistic with
Yeah.
yourself. I think you're pretty great. You know what I mean? You
I'm
do
great, like overall as a human and as like a
entity.
yeah.
You're
Yeah.
a great entity.
Yeah, I am
Magnanimous.
the greatest metrosexual in the podcast space.
I like that you call yourself a metrosexual.
Some may say the most masculine metrosexual in the podcast space.
Yeah, it's a fine line between your masculinity and your metrosexuality.
Yeah,
That's cool, man. Can I get back to my story, or are we
Please.
going to talk about Raekwon?
please.
So I'm going to fast forward a second. Hall & Oates was absolutely phenomenal. I literally had tears in my eyes. Okay, we all get it. Your biceps are great.
I've been working out.
They were great. They did a 3-song. Miles was calling every song before he played it because Miles is tuned in, tapped in, and all the things. So he was killing it. The people behind us were now tapped into our conversation because Miles was
Because
just
they wanted
calling
to
it.
know what was coming up next.
Exactly.
Right.
People were asking us who was coming, what was playing next. I was just deferring to Miles.
Did he start acting like he had some inside
No, but he
scoop?
should have. But they probably,
would've
because he
been
was
hilarious.
so accurate, they probably thought he did.
Right.
Because
if
he
was
really
like,
was. He was on point with 3 songs, and then at the end, the girl behind us is talking. She had great feet. She was talking to us about a lot of feet out, you know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
good for me. Not so much the men, but when the women do it, it's like buttholes, you know what I mean? Like a woman's butthole is great, but a man's butthole,
disgusting.
awful.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to the story. We were talking about the last 3 songs because they were going to come up, and I said, I'm not leaving unless they play 3 more songs. This is at the encore. They did I Can't Go For That, and then they leave for the encore.
And then Miles said they're going to play 3 more songs.
No. So it came. He said they're gonna play Rich Girl, which I agreed that they would play Rich
Yeah.
Girl, and then she
I feel
goes,
like that would be in the main set. You
You'd
would
think, but they didn't play it, so then they have to play it
yeah,
at the end.
yeah.
And then she says, "I really want to hear This Kiss," and I'm like, "Oh, I didn't even think about This Kiss." And then I say, "It would be great if they did Private Eyes because Private Eyes almost goes into This Kiss,"
Right.
which they did. They did, but they did it backwards. They did Rich Girl is what they came out with, and Miles called it. He said they're going to start. Now I don't know. Maybe he watched a set and
Right.
he knew. But it was so accurate. He said they're going to start it out real slow, and then they're going to get jamming and bring it back slow again, which is exactly what they did. Daryl
Right.
Hall sounded absolutely phenomenal. Then they then they played This Kiss, and then they played Private Eyes, and then they played another song that escapes me right now, but it's probably their biggest song, like their most commercial hit. But I can't think of what it is right now because it wasn't on my mind.
I can't go for that.
No, they played that. That was the last song they played on the regular set.
Gotcha.
Regardless. So now backing up, this is what I really wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Before Hall & Oates goes on stage, Pierre Robert from WMMR comes on, right? Are you familiar with
fucking
Pierre
Philly
Robert?
god, Pierre
yeah.
Robert.
Okay, Philly God. Wait, though.
But
Just
also a goofball.
an absolute disgusting human being is where I'm at with it. And I almost called in his show the next day and complained about his antics this night because it just really offended me as a person alive in this country at this present moment.
Right.
And he almost ruined, he put a damper on the night.
Yeah.
So he comes out and he says, you know, give it up for Craig Robinson and give it up for Down North and yada, yada, yada. And this is one of my favorite venues. You know how he gets all nerdy about shit. I seen Metallica here 14 years ago, and they were fucking great or whatever. Yeah. And there needs to be more live events happening here.
Yeah.
And then he goes and he says, I don't want to lecture you guys.
I don't mean to get into politics.
I don't mean to get into politics, but everyone needs to be vaccinated. The reason that we all need to be vaccinated is so we can be in mosh pits, so we can elbow each other, so we can eat each other's sweat, so we can spit in each other's beers. This is verbatim what he's saying. So we can eat each other's sweat and spit in each other's beers, so we can continue to have these live venue experiences that we're having right now. It's great to be back in Philly, and don't forget to get vaccinated. When he said everyone needs to get vaccinated, the crowd roared. It roared.
See, I feel like a Hall & Oates crowd, like an older crowd, might have like kind of went the other way there.
But they
like maybe a hush would have fallen over the crowd.
Well, me and Miles booed, right? And I actually took a knee because I didn't know what else to do. But and then of course, and then it becomes like a separatist thing, right? So then like the lady in front of us was like, yeah, you're right, because I called him like a cuck faggot or something. I said something like I was just angry, and Miles was angry. We were both angry, like you know, like, yeah, keep sucking the fascist cock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because now we're like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah,
we're all having a good time, dude.
Yeah.
Don't talk about everyone get vac. We're already here.
Yeah.
Most
Too
of us
late
are
now.
not vaccinated.
Yeah, too late.
Below me.
Yeah.
So he went into this whole thing. We combated it with this, and then this lady comes and she's holding an American flag, and she looks back and she said, "Yeah, fucking right. You guys are fucking right." And I can see Miles, who is a diehard lib, in his heart of hearts.
It hurt him.
It hurt him.
Yeah.
But he had someone agreeing with him, so he had to just kind of get red in the face and just nod it off.
Yeah.
The point that I want to get to is, it seems like in New York right now, they're doing vaccination like cards. They want to put an app on your phone.
Yeah.
Right? They want to make it so all your medical business is public. I saw Sean Psalm the other day talking about how, now it's going to be necessary for any shows that he throws for you to even have a proof of vaccination or to then have a negative test result within 7 days of attending the event.
Wait, who's saying this?
Sean Psalm said it the other day. And it's now going to become, that's what I'm fearing is going to become the norm, is going to be, the same way that Cuomo was saying, you're not going to be able to, you're not going to be able to go to the grocery store unless while he's raping women. You're not going to be able to go to the grocery store.
You're not going to be able to take advantage.
You're not going to be able to rape women.
Interns.
You won't be able to. You won't be able to finger blast your secretary if you don't get vaccinated. So in my head, I'm just fearful. Here's where I want to get to. First of all, I want to hear your take on what you think about moving forward in our new dictatorship that we're under, and our old freedoms that we may have lost forever, and what you think about vaccine passports, and more importantly, being vaccinated or proof of a negative test result in order to get into a venue. Mind you, that these vaccinations are not polio vaccines, they're not measles vaccines, they're not even technically vaccines. And the people that are getting them are still getting sick and still contracting COVID and still spreading COVID.
Well, so you asked me my opinion, and then
I tried to make you go biased.
Then you tried to send me towards an opinion that you want me to have.
Okay, so backspace the last three things I said,
okay.
And then what's your opinion on the matter?
All right, so, first off, Benny Blanco straight roll wants to get some bars tonight, Biz, which might happen if you hang around long enough till the end of the show. It's quite possible. We're not going to guarantee it. Next episode, we promise you'll get bars. You just got to come on back. Yeah.
We got a great episode next week.
Yeah. All right, so here's the thing. You're dealing with a guy, myself, who stands in the center on everything because I'm also a guy who sees truth in a little bit of everything, as well as lies in a little bit of everything. Also, I'm a rebel by nature, but also a guy who has learned to kind of go along with the flow of things because I've done so much time and understand that, like, from being locked up, a lot of my personality traits, which I don't always notice, but other people point out to me, stem from my youth and early adulthood as a degenerate criminal who spent more time locked up than on the streets.
Understood.
So, like, I understand certain things are out of my hands, and I just have to kind of go with it, right?
Okay.
because that's what it's like when you're locked up. Like, we could do. We just got to deal with what we got to deal with here.
Right.
Whilst rebelling behind, closed doors.
Gotcha.
So I don't think that it should be mandatory. I don't know all the science on it. My thought is that if you're scared, go to church, or if you're scared, get a vaccine. And if you're not, then don't worry about it. Because if this vaccine, like, here's the thing, like, and then people are saying, well, like, yeah, but it's only 60% fucking, worthwhile or whatever. Or like, no, the vaccine doesn't stop you from getting sick. It stops you from dying. But, like, my thought process here is...
So does not being unhealthy.
Yeah, well, have some zinc, have some sunshine, do a couple push-ups, eat some asparagus.
Uh-huh.
That's my plan. That's how I've beat COVID and been in the streets every fucking day since it started.
Right.
But, I mean, like, there's a very strong push. There's a lot of people who are kind of indifferent and are just like, I don't really think that I'm going to go get the vaccine. I'm just not that worried about it.
Right.
And then those who have gotten the vaccine are, like, very angry at you for not getting it.
Yeah.
But you have it, right? If you're angry at me, you're okay. You got your vaccine. Don't worry about me getting it. Like,
it always seems that
you're
way.
already 60% fucking covered, and you're not going to die if you get it.
Yeah.
I already feel 60% covered, and I'm probably not going to die. Maybe
Right.
I will. Now that I said it, I probably jinxed myself, and I'm going to die.
Yeah,
but
we'll both die.
Right
after this podcast.
But Allah has it written for me. It's already in the book the day I'm going to die. So there's nothing I could do to avoid it.
You're big on fate.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think that all this shit is, if God is a real thing, this whole thing is already mapped out for me, and I got no choice.
But using the word "if" and then accompanying it with fate is almost like a paradox.
It's me right here in the middle, baby.
Okay, I got you, man. I'm in the middle too, and I think we'd benefit more as a country if we all played the middle a little bit more.
Well, everybody used to play the middle. Like, there was a time when the thing was like, hey, you don't talk religion and you don't talk politics.
Right.
Because we just got along and we fucking dealt with our politics and we dealt with our religion when we were with our family or whatever that shit may be, because it didn't matter in your day-to-day relationships with people.
You could loop in sexuality with that nowadays too.
You could be friendly with somebody. You could be fucking kind to them. You could help them. You could hang out. You could have a drink. You could go to the park. You could lift weights and never have to discuss politics, religion, or your sexuality.
Right.
But this whole, it goes back to the fucking internet thing where, like, everybody has a voice, so now everybody thinks that they get to have a voice.
Yeah, narcissism is at an all-time high nowadays.
And I think that as we sit here and talk into microphones to make sure that we're heard.
I'm not saying I'm not part of this. I am also part of society.
Yeah. So I think the idea of vaccine passports and mandatory vaccines, like, somebody said this, and I don't remember who it was, but it was like, the liberal side is very my body, my choice.
Right.
When it comes to, like, abortions or, the transgender issues.
Right.
But now, with the vaccine thing, like, my body, my choice is
Throw it
X'd
out the
out.
window.
Like, that's
Right.
not it anymore. Like, no, now we get to tell you what you have to do with your body.
Yeah.
So, I think what I would really have to see is the realistic science on what it looks like if everyone's vaccinated, what it looks like if they're not vaccinated, what is the vaccine really doing? But that science is not out there.
Right.
Right? Or maybe it is, but we're not going to see it.
They say something like 78% of the population dying from COVID-19 is obese.
Yeah.
So there's no conversation, like you said, about eating your asparagus. There's no conversation about any of that. And I know Rogan's touched on this as well, but I'm just saying, like, there's no other side of it except for this. And you go back to that same thing where it's like, that's what I'm saying about playing the middle. People need to play the middle. These agendas and these sides are just unnecessary things that are only going to separate and divide us, and then we fall as a nation. Now, if you play both sides, I align with conservative beliefs and align with liberal beliefs because that's how normal human beings are.
Right.
Right? And you just pick a side because you'd want to pick a side because Coca-Cola and Pepsi taste a little bit different.
Right.
Right? So I really fucking like Coke. Oh, you only have Pepsi products? I'll just have a water. No one ever really says that. You know what I mean? Oh, I want a Coke. We have Pepsi. Okay, Pepsi's fine.
Right.
And that should really be where we're at, right? We
Right.
should really just be like, okay, Pepsi, that's fine. I just wanted cola.
Yeah.
You have cola? I don't care if it's RC
Can I get an
cola.
RC?
Right.
Right.
So, but I think that that's it, and I think that you have to play that side. Like the conservatives would be like, or maybe that's not the way to put it. The people would be like, you need an identification to vote, right? And then they'd be like, well, you need a driver's license to vote.
Yeah.
Well, the majority of blacks in the inner city don't have driver's license. So what? Can they not vote?
But then you could get a state ID.
But what I'm saying is you can use that argument. They do.
Right,
People use that argument.
Right.
But you're going to make me put an app on my phone as a passport? What if I don't have a smartphone? What if I don't have the capability to have the internet? And there's so many people in the world, maybe not so many in America, but there's so many people in the world that don't.
Right.
So it's just you have to be able to use that. Even if it's not where your mental aligns, it's where you have to use that to your advantage. You have to fight for your freedoms. This is a country founded on freedom.
Yes.
It's the only one in existence founded like this.
Yeah.
So you can't fucking backtrack and say, oh yeah, that sounds just like a dictatorship. You know, like it sounds just like the people forcing shit in your body. Like you just said, my body, my choice. Until what? Until you don't align with that thing? Well, I don't align with your thing. But I'll respect a transgender person as far as them being an alive human being.
And I think I think a lot of the time what it comes down to is, right, in your life, in your day-to-day, you walk through a bunch of different spots, right? Whether you walk through the music world, or you walk through the construction world, or you walk through your neighborhood, or you walk through, whatever. You touch in all of these worlds. And in all of these worlds, face to face, it's kind of a very like, yeah, man, go ahead, you do what you do, I'm gonna do what I do.
Right.
But then we go to like the loud voices, or what we hear via the internet, social media, the news, and shit like that. So it seems like there's a side being forced at you, right? Whatever side that is, it's being forced at you. But to me, in my fucking realistic day to day, nobody's ever checked me on having a vaccine. One time, I almost got into a fight with a dude about a mask, right?
Right.
Because he, tried to tell me to put on my mask in Wawa, and whatever, I should have had the mask on. But I also was like, he said something like, you got to wear your mask in here, buddy. I'm like, what are you, a fucking hall monitor, cuz?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool. And I kept getting my coffee, and then he was like, that means put your fucking mask on, buddy. I said, what, cuz? I said, and I'm cool, bro.
Yeah.
But you're gonna flex on me, like, why don't you come talk to me about my mask the fuck outside?
Yeah.
And he didn't. He was bitch made.
Right. As most of them are.
But I still think about that, and I still would like to fight him for trying to flex on me. But that's the idea.
We should go sit out front of that Wawa and wait for him to show up.
Like, cuz stop with the tough shit, and because most people are not really that tough. I'm not that tough, so I don't come with tough shit. You know what I mean? I come from a place of I think understanding.
Yeah, let's get along.
Yeah, let's be cool. Let's just be friends and shit, right?
Yeah.
And I just think that there's there's this section of the population that, for whatever reason, they thrive off the division and the fucking anger and the fighting.
Narcissistic mentality that social media, I think, provides. But what I'm telling you is that I always thought that this was a vocal minority. I always thought that it was just a small group of people that really just wanted to tell you how they fucking feel about it.
Right.
But when fucking fuckface Pierre Robert said, everyone needs to get vaccinated so we can spit in each other's beers at our next First of all, who's spitting in fucking people's beers, dude? Relax.
Yeah, but you're dealing with mob mentality at that point.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know what I mean? Your mental is strong enough to not fall into oh, this is what everyone's doing.
Not only does it not fall into it, I automatically see the mob and I say, oh, that can't be the way. That's not. If anything, seeing a bunch of people join in on this fucking praise of everyone needs to get vaccinated.
Yeah, you're a contrarian.
It makes me feel like, oh, that's wrong. Now I'm just more assured of my beliefs that me not being vaccinated is the right thing. Yeah. Because 9 times out of 10, everyone's doing the wrong shit.
Yeah, you're
mob
a
mentality
contrarian by nature.
up.
But this is what I'm saying is I doubt, right, one-on-one, you take all of those fucking 10,000 people or whatever it is. Hey, what's up? My mother-in-law, old Donna Brewer Brown, in the building. She said, she told Steph that she's a little bit heated with me because I never shout her out. I said, you got to put something in the chat for me to see.
Well, she did it. Shout out.
What up?
What it up?
So, I could almost guarantee that you take those 100,000 people or 50,000, whatever it was, ask them individually.
Right.
Each of them's going. It might be 50-50.
Right.
It's probably going to be something like 15% all for vaccine. No, 25% are gung-ho about the vaccine. 25% are probably gung-ho against it.
Right.
And then 50% are like, I don't really know.
Yeah, like me.
I'm going to just play how
Like
I play it.
I would say the majority of the people that I surround myself with are vaccinated, right? Because it's just a thing to do. And I also think that people fear things like not being able to go to a show, not being able to go, because that's how they fearmonger and they make you feel like, oh, fuck.
Well, this is also a product of a godless society, I think, right?
A little bit.
Because, like, there's this false sense of spirituality in the world. Like I think a lot of people hit you with the like, oh, I do yoga and I meditate. And it's really like, yeah, maybe you do that, but you're like trying to look cool by doing it.
Yeah, it's pompous. And it loses the whole point of what you're trying to accomplish. All of a sudden looks like it's ego, bro.
Right.
You're talking about the egoless state. You got fucking 9 Instagram pages telling them all the fucking different dumb shit you do. You got a podcast where you talk about how you're egoless.
Right.
This is not what we're doing.
And so like with this whole idea of like, that faith and that spirituality actually like it's a falsity now in life. Like people I don't think really connect to like that level of being okay with yourself and being okay with the world as it is around you, which to me is like the ideal, like the groundstone of spirituality is like being all right with you and your immediate circle, right? Whether it's the people or the lifestyle or the fucking neighborhood, whatever. And I think since people have lost that, where was I going?
People have lost their spiritual
conscience, and therefore they have that fear.
Yeah.
Right? They have the fear of like, oh no, we are like what the media tells you, what you're hearing from the media, what you're hearing on fucking YouTube and what you're hearing from all these places, like that gets into you and it scares the shit out of you. And the reality is like you're probably going to be all right. And if you're not going to be all right, it's because you weren't supposed to be all right.
Right.
Like,
but I just fear that there's so many people that aren't all right that it's fearful for it become. Now I'm getting sucked into this fear where honestly, where I heard that crowd reaction, I was like, fuck, bro. Because I know in the reality of vaccines is that you shed, is that, things come off of you when you get vaccines. Now, I don't know the whole inner workings of this vaccine. I'm also limited knowledge on the science behind this vaccine, right? But I just know it's a very different thing, and it's not technically a vaccine because they're not technically giving you a small amount of COVID-19 for your body to fight it, which is what a vaccine is, correct?
Yeah.
So it's not really that. So I'm already skeptical. Then I'm skeptical about the over majority of celebrity endorsement of it all because I don't trust these things on television. Once they're on television, they become fraudulent and I don't believe in them. But that's just me. But a lot of other people are fear-mongered and they created and all that fear, and it's just it's nonsensical. I fear that I think that in places like Texas, and let's just group it in the South, that they're not going to get away with this nonsense because we're going to be smart enough to be like, no, fuck you, dude.
So do we have the Civil War II on its way here?
I think a lot of people think it's going to be Civil War II.
Which is a wild thing to have a civil war over. Slavery makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's have a war over slavery. But also 150 years from now, we may also say like, oh no, it made sense to have a civil war over people trying to force you to put a chemical in your body that you didn't want to put in your body. So, if we go to civil war, I'm kind of for it because I've always been.
You're for the Civil War.
I've always been for anarchy.
But you are indifferent, but you're for the Civil War.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Because I don't know where I'm standing in that Civil War. You know what I mean? I'm kind of just standing in my house, I think.
I'm standing on let the strong survive. I like Civil War, vax versus non-vax, me versus them both.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to start. This is how I'm going
but
to blow. This is how the Gig Podcast and GBMC is going to blow up.
Okay.
Is that I'm going to take that central stance and like just build a cult following. So it's going to be a triple Civil War.
Okay, we're the third party. We're the independents.
Yeah.
The independent thinkers.
The
IT guys.
The IT guys.
Yeah, we're the IT guys.
But we need another letter. It can't just be the IT.
Well, ITG. Guys.
Oh, yeah, the ITGs.
I like ITG.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the independent thinker because I really don't care. Like I'm never. I mean, I might make a sly joke about somebody who got a vaccine. You know what I mean? And like, or
right.
you know,
but you
or
also
whatever.
might make a sly joke about somebody who's fucking staunch against it.
Yeah, I mean, I was diehard conspiracy theorist for a long time. I went down many rabbit holes, and I spent many a nights not sleeping looking at 9/11 videos or moon landing videos or JFK Zapruder films or all these things, right, that have still kind of weigh in my conscience a little bit, and I don't really know, right? But eventually you just say, I don't fucking know. And then you just live in I don't fucking know world, and I don't fucking know world is solitude.
It's okay.
It's fine to not fucking know, because guess what? We never fucking know.
I'm good, baby pop. I'm chasing paper.
We all right.
I'm just trying to get muscles and money. You know what I'm saying? Everything else comes in after that.
We gonna make it. Also, back to we gonna make it. The locks would easily beat, just shout out to Payday, would easily beat State Prop, Dipset, G-Unit, and Wu-Tang in a battle on Versus together. Okay. Because they're hip-hop, and they exude hip-hop, and they are the definition of what hip-hop is. I never once in my life thought 50 Cent exuded hip-hop. And when you think about Wu-Tang and all their great things, even if it's just Ghost, Ray, and Jizza, right, which are probably the lyrical talents of Wu-Tang, right?
I like Inspector Deck in Jizza's place.
Okay, well, Jizza, we'll agree to disagree that Jizza is one of the greatest lyricists that ever walked the face of the planet. Okay. But Inspector Deck did have great verses on Wu-Tang songs, so I can, if we're going strictly off of Wu-Tang, possibly Inspector Deck takes the lead. But if we're going to go into, you know, Jizza's catalog, I mean, Jizza's catalog is
that's incredible. How you're going to have to do it.
I got Killer Priest over Inspector Deck.
Okay.
Heavy Mental.
I mean, I pretty much used up all of my... Not gonna lie to you, I used up all my locks first Dipset.
Yeah, I wasn't here, so I needed to
So now you need to make sure
because
that
he said something like, "Oh, he's just all high on the locks." Like I'm not just high on the locks; I'm high on hip hop. Payday, all right.
Here's what I love.
Where I come in and I shit on Payday,
and then Payday's gonna come back on Friday. Because he's got all week to think about what he has to say and respond. Never am I going to let you two in the same room again.
Yeah, and
right?
it'll be great.
It's just going to continue like this.
At least 15 minutes
because
of content.
I don't know if you heard the beginning of Friday's episode.
I missed a majority
but he gave us a good rebuttal about his heels and how he thoroughly pumice scrubs his heels, and he has soft heels. After the podcast, I took a look. Rubbed one on my upper cheek, and I can definitely speak truth to the fact that Payday has a beautiful heel.
But what I'm saying, his toes, the day that we did the podcast together a while back, his toes didn't look great. They looked a little long, maybe a little yellow.
I don't remember the coloring nor the length of his toes, but I'm telling you, I put a heel to my cheek, and it was luscious.
Okay, well, shout-outs to Payday for taking care of his feet, because if you're going to have your feet out, you might as well take care of them.
Here's the thing. I'm getting texts on the low cursing vaxxers.
Okay. So we're inciting a riot on accident.
So instead of, where's my camera? Instead of you putting it in the chat, chump, you text it to me on the low.
Yeah, put it in the chat and stop being a pussy. If you're going to stand on your two in public. This is a narcissistic generation that we live in, and you have to play a part.
Yeah.
So play a part.
Nah, you can play the middle.
Well, but you can play the middle.
My part is the middle.
I play the middle.
ITG.
I would say that I am to a degree an anti-vax, but to the more degree I'm pro-freedom. Yeah. So I think that people should just be allowed to do what they want. And once again, back to your point, if motherfuckers is afraid of the non-vaccinated, then obviously your vaccine isn't strong enough.
I think here's what I'm going to do if a civil war comes.
Okay.
Right? I am going to pool all of the resources I have, which is not many.
It's a few.
I have a few resources, not many. And I'm going to try to probably get out of the country and into a Caribbean island where I can just kind of sustenance farm. And start with sustenance farming and just trying to hustle and make a way. Maybe St. John's. I have a friend that you know, Screw Tape.
Okay, toy.
Yeah. His brother... OGTWD is moved from wherever around here down to, I think, St. John's.
Okay.
And he now is like the bull on the island because he fixes all the small engines.
That's the dream.
Right? Carved out a little niche. Now he lives on an island. He's got a little business going. He's hustling, and he's just chilling.
Look at the state of affairs that we're in where you have to leave the country to live the American dream. that crazy? Unless it's Texas, where Texas still stands on their morals and still stands on their ground, then maybe they're still going to be okay. Because even the far left in Texas are still very fucking right in the middle.
Yeah.
You don't get crazies out there. It's not California and New York where people are legitimately crazy.
Either which way. Yeah, I mean, I am, if I didn't have to move my entire business, like if I didn't just finally start having some success in business this year,
right?
I'd be all for moving somewhere outside of Jersey.
Yeah. I was big
mostly because of the warm weather.
I was big. Steve Skaggs from Marston House bought 11 acres in Tennessee, and I'm able to go out there and help him fix up this old shanty and make it my estate if I would like to, right? I have things that keep me here, i.e. my daughter, but if that wasn't the case, or for whatever reason down the line someone shows mental incompetence and I get full custody,
right,
then that's where I'm going. And I'll go make compost and worm farm and honey farm and cannabis and all the things that make America beautiful.
Yeah, here's the problem with that, right? My problem with that
Go ahead.
is that I like material shit. I like polo clothes. I like my truck with rims on it. I like a stereo system. I like new sneakers.
Yeah.
I like the stuff.
And do you think that being in Tennessee or any southern
well,
state,
I feel like sustenance farming makes it hard. Like being a farmer to me doesn't seem like a profitable. Like I think you could survive, but I don't know how profitable being a worm farmer
it just takes time, just like it took time for 7-1.
Yeah.
It just takes time. And I think that if you're dedicated, and I think that if the it justifies the means, that you can make it happen. Also, I think that if you're living on your land and if you're profiting from your land, then you're able to stay on your land. So if they shut shit down or they require anything or they make you do this to do that, you could be okay.
Yeah, but really...
And at the end of the day, you get to live. Whether you have a brand new polo tee or not, you get to live in your freedom. And that...
It is mandatory shirtless Monday, regardless of the polo tee.
Okay. Well, I didn't... I
came
with a shirt.
I would like to live somewhere where I don't have to wear a shirt most of the year round.
You can wear literally whatever you want.
Bro. My wife asked why I look so Mexican now. My tan is getting so
you're a hard
serious.
worker, man. You're a really hard worker.
I was going to say, look at you. You see the raccoon tan I got going on my eyeballs?
Yeah, a little bit.
I look a little crazy.
Yeah, it's the glasses, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to leave them. You got to take them off a little bit.
I know,
you get a little bit of. See these triceps? They're shaking on me.
You're looking great, though.
They're doing tricep stuff.
You're looking handsome.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, people are mad at. You hear a lot of talk of letting in Central Americans and they want to take our labor jobs and shit like that, but nobody has looked at it in the way like, you know what? If they're getting all those jobs, let's try and fit in there.
Yeah.
Right? Let's build some decks and catch a tan, and maybe I could pass as Mexican, and I'll be able to keep getting these jobs.
If you can pass as Mexican, that's showing your devout, commitment to labor.
Yeah.
They are the best.
The top notch when it comes to labor.
The top-tier workers in the world biting the bullet and excelling at it. I've worked landscaping jobs. I've worked kitchen jobs. These people don't see their families. Their dad dies. They don't leave work. They don't go back to the motherland. They just continue on their shit. They might shed a tear, and they get the fucking mower out, and they continue their job.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. I have, obviously, in the same boat, I've worked in many a laborious field, and I haven't met Guatemalan, even my neighbors. I got Guatemalan neighbors. I love this. The kid's cool.
Yeah.
The dad's aside. His English is terrible, and we don't have very deep conversations. But you could tell by talking to a guy like, hey, this guy's exuding a generally good spirit, and we are happy to see each other, and this is a friendly interaction.
He gets it.
Yeah. But this is what I'm saying is that working side by side with many different Central Americans, Guatemalans, Salvadorians, Mexicans, right? I can't think of one where I was like, oh, I don't fucking like this guy.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're going to work with you all day. So, as long as you're the guy who's going to work with them. You know what I mean? If you're not working hard, you show up, they're doing all the work, you're an asshole, and you probably get no respect. But
well, they might be used to that from the whitey.
that might be true. And then they'll share their sandwich with you at lunch if you ain't got a sandwich. I've had
Pinche way.
when I was fucking strung out, I've had one or two Mexican laborers buy me a lunch off the
They
lunch
can
cart.
afford it, man. They got 9 people in a 1-bedroom.
Yeah. Maybe that's...
It's minimalist.
I'm not against minimalist either, right?
I'm
so
not
if
against it.
so
I gotta
listen,
get rid of
even
all
though
my
I
shit.
like things, right? Even though I like things, I could also, I think, go completely in the other direction.
Well, you could always do quality over quantity, which would still be minimalist. You could have 5 really nice shirts and 8 really nice pair of shorts and 4 really nice pairs of shoes, and you're not overdoing it. I got 2 closets filled.
Minus the shoes, I think that's about what I have.
Okay.
I probably have I think I'm pushing like 40 pairs of shoes at this point,
Well,
but
that's
that's
rough.
just because, like, they add up.
Yeah.
I'll be getting them and they be adding up.
Yeah, man.
And then when the more shoes you have, the fresher the other shoes stay.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
now
yeah.
you can keep your collection going and just keep fucking adding to it. And then before you know it, you got 3 rows of shoes under your bed and your wife's mad at you because it's messy.
Yeah. Well, you probably have too many shoes if you have 40 pairs of shoes. Because you only have 2 feet, and there's only 30 days in a month.
Listen, they're not necessary. I agree. It's not completely necessary. But also, I like sneakers, man.
Yeah, man. I'm getting into. I got these.
Yeah, no, I noticed that, and I meant to tell you.
They're
when
like the iridescent blue.
Yeah. When you stepped in, that I was kind of feeling your New Balances. You're coming.
Man.
You're coming with. Yeah, I mean, just like your alter ego, Jack Harlow.
Yeah.
You're out here
I'm
repping
glad you
New
noticed,
Balance,
man. I went from ugly, fat Post Malone to almost as hot as Jack Harlow.
I'd venture to say you're a little more handsome than Jack Harlow.
Thank you, man. I still got a little bit of work to do.
I think another 2 months. So Jack Harlow, I don't think he's doing any push-ups, bruh.
Nah, he don't seem to be. He has a nice, attractive face, though.
Yeah. The girls like
And he's
him.
6'2", which I'll never be.
Well, you're like 6 foot.
Yeah,
Hey,
but not 6'2".
that's
It's
all
a
you
big
need.
step up, man.
The fact that you know how tall Jack Harlow is
Well,
a little questionable.
I wanted to see if I could pass as him because when I got the Post Malone comparisons back in the day, I always wanted to be like, I wonder if I could show up somewhere
With some
fake
tats
tattoos
on your face, yeah.
and see if I could just pull that off, just as like a fun little prank on people.
Yeah.
And then I was like, maybe I could be Jack Harlow. Now maybe I could be Jack Harlow. Maybe I could be Jack Harlow.
I think you could probably rock a party like Jack Harlow.
I can. I'm going to start my DJ. We're going to start DJing, right? Or you're going to help me out, I think.
Are we going to call it 7-1 DJs?
No. Damn. No.
Then I don't know if I could be involved. I need to be able to put it on the back of a T-shirt.
We're okay. Well, you can put it on the back of the T-shirt, and then
well,
when we
but
show up,
the back of the T-shirt already says entertainment.
Okay.
So now I
So
have
you're
to
good.
I have to expand into the entertainment field, which I feel like that's what I'm doing here with podcasting on Mondays and Fridays. If you're listening now, there's also a Friday night podcast, The Gig, which this week will have Reef the Lost Cause on.
Damn.
Same place you're watching this is the same place you could watch that live Friday night at 9 o'clock. If you're watching on Facebook, you could also watch over on YouTube
which
the
is-
Gig Podcast channel.
Yeah, it's all good stuff, man. I'm glad you're getting Reef in here. That's going to be a step up for you, man.
I hope.
Yeah.
I hope it gets me 1 or 2 new followers.
Getting guests like we will have next Monday.
We
and how
also
you-
have a very special guest coming in here next Monday. Stay tuned. We don't want to tell you who it is, but it's exciting.
It's really
guaranteed to
really
be a
exciting.
barn burner.
It's going to be one hell of a podcast on Monday and Friday.
It will split your dick in 2.
It'll split your dick in half like a hot dog in the microwave.
Yeah.
For 4 minutes.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? Me being Jack Harlow, how I'm hotter than Jack Harlow.
You could probably rock a party like Jack Harlow.
And we were going to DJ.
We're going to be DJs.
Yeah, DJs I think is the move. I DJ'd a set. We played at a house party like a couple weeks ago, or actually the 4th of July, and I DJ'd a set with not my own equipment, but was just DJing off of YouTube with crazy good transitions and was really crushing the game. And at that point, I realized that my calling might be to be a party starter. And honestly, when I started rapping when I was 15 years old, I started doing shows when I was 15 years old. So I met a lot of people in hip-hop at that young age, right? And they didn't know how old I was. They just knew I was young.
Yeah.
So 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, I start to realize that everyone's getting paid except for me.
Yeah.
I'm showing up, and then right around 21 is when I started throwing my own shows. So at least I could put $50 in my pocket and pay a DJ.
Yeah.
But I pay the DJ more than me for most of the time because without
What do you
him,
pay the DJ?
well, if I made say $150 on the show, the DJ would make $100. I would leave with $50, and I would feel happy that I got to throw a show that I wanted to throw.
Yeah.
And if I made $100, I would split it. You know what I mean? Because I wanted to take something from it. But there's also been times where I took nothing and I paid the DJ because without him, nothing is possible.
Yeah. The DJ is the quintessential building block, the cornerstone of hip hop, which we can talk a little could go into that a little bit.
What do you want to talk about? DJs being the cornerstone of hip hop?
Yeah, and I think that we've lost some of that in the from generation to generation.
Well, because it used to be a severe talent that was done with severe instrumentation, and now it can be done by a 13-year-old in his bedroom with Serato, and no one knows the difference.
Yeah, but the thing is that even though it was like an instrument, right? Like playing the turntables was an instrument, and it still is an instrument. The talent, more so, I think, especially like in the early days of hip hop, Kool Herc and Flash and these guys, right? The talent was rocking the party.
Right.
More so than the scratching and cutting. That's cool, right?
Also, at that point, the emceeing was almost secondary.
Yeah.
You know, now then it became an ego thing where the DJ is almost interchangeable. It doesn't matter who's playing the music. It matters who's performing the music.
Right.
Where it was the opposite for the longest time. And that's why when you listen to that 79 to 83 hip-hop, it sounds like just a dude saying, over here, over there, over here,
Right.
over there.
Right.
And that's all it was.
Which is
because
in
it was the dude
reality,
killing it.
right? In our new DJ venture, the reality is that you're going to have to kind of dumb down your MC skills and be the over here, over there, over here guy.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what I'm saying?
they used to book me. I was doing a lot of house parties and a lot of basement shows, doing dubstep parties for a while, and they
Sweet.
would book me to do like these bigger ones at the Fillmore or wherever. Like I've done some bigger shows where I had to hold a microphone while DJs played their dubstep, but I just wanted to rap because that's what I thought they booked me for because I'm a rapper. So I would rap, and then people would come up to me like, "No, you gotta dumb it down. You're just talking." Well, I don't know where the drop is. I don't know this track. I don't know this DJ mixing this. I have no idea about any of these things. So I can do the thing, but what I want to really get to is playing not necessarily. I want to be real stuck in the '90s with my DJing. I want to be throwing DJ nostalgia out there.
See, my preference would be if you went back to the dubstep party days and like you walk in the building
Yeah,
and,
LaRue.
and like this is what like you're rocking, right? There's like Molly on the table.
Right.
There's Italian girls with short dresses, short black
Just
cocktail
wearing
dresses.
fishnets as the bottom.
Yeah.
All see-through with rips in them.
Because really, because when a beat drops, bro.
Yeah.
Here, let me tell you, that's something that the dubstep crowd and the dubstep musicians have right, is the emphasis on the beat drop, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Like, the beat drop is such an ill concept, and there's so much. Okay, so here, this comes back to this, right? The idea that, like, the talent is rocking the party, which is if you, like, look at it, like, let's look at it on a metaphysical,
Okay, we're getting meta.
maybe not metaphysical, maybe psychological,
All right.
psychotic.
Words are interesting.
Aphrodisiac. Look
Yes.
at it on an aphrodisiacal level.
Uh-huh.
And
As I often do.
yeah. And the idea is that, like, this DJ is a guy who, without saying words to you at all, is in control of your emotions for the next X amount of minutes or hours, right? So then you take the dubstep, the drop, which is the emphasis of exploding your emotion via music.
Right.
Right? It is the Pan-African ultimate expression of a DJ fucking with your emotions. And that's why I fucks with
dubstep. I got dubstep on my super mix. You know what I mean? There's stuff that comes up that's a little dancey, a little bit different. But I also loved playing to this July 4th crowd with a bunch of suburban white bitches and dropping some Justin Timberlake and watching them get fucking into it, man.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there, without a doubt right now, your whole look that you have going on, bandana, the beads, the superhero shirt.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely, you look like a guy who could be like the coolest guy at a suburban backyard party right now.
And that's really all I really need to be. And I've never been that guy.
Oh,
I'm not saying that's all I need to be. I'm saying that might be fulfilling enough in my life to get me to that next tier.
What do you think the next tier is for you, sir?
I don't know, man. Maybe gay porn. I'm just guessing. I don't. I just am so.
Well, that's a swing.
Yeah, a little bit, not much, more like a flick. But I don't know. I would love to just. I think professional wrestling. Honestly, I think that I want to get into professional wrestling this time next year. I hope that my body is better than DJ Sev 1's and that I can step into the realm. or the ring?
I think that you're great at playing a character.
Yeah. Well, wrestling has always been a consistent in my life, and it taught me everything that there is to know about the world because it's a microcosm. It's, when you step back, you start to see that the whole entire world is heels and faces, and you're all just playing off each other. It's storyline, and it's bullshit. It doesn't really mean anything. Good guys become bad guys, become good guys again.
Yeah. Okay. That's an interesting lens to view the world through, the old WWF lens.
It did, because since 1994 I can remember, I can watch a Royal Rumble from 1994 and tell you who's coming out next. It was so important in my life that it was just,
you were miles at Royal Rumble.
Yes,
I was just watching Royal Rumble the other day.
Royal Rumble's my favorite.
And I
pay-per-view. Forgot
how intertwined my life has been with Shawn Michaels, strictly because of as a young man, I decided he was my favorite wrestler.
Yeah, same.
And I grew up to be a heartbreaker.
Yeah.
Because
and Shawn, and you're both Shawn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're Shawn the Heartbreak Kid Cove.
I'm Shawn Michael Cove.
Is that the wrestler that you would align yourself with the most? If you were to take who you are and you were to align yourself as a wrestler,
yeah,
would it be Shawn Michaels?
Well, so here's the thing, right? Am I aligning myself in my reality or the world's reality of me? Let's do this.
Let's do both.
Okay. So I think, who would I align with? I'd like to say that I align most with Razor Ramon.
Okay. I see that, right.
You know what I mean?
Okay,
like,
I get that.
I like to think that I'm just like cool as shit and a little bit indifferent.
Yeah.
Kind of like,
I think you'd hold a toothpick well.
I do. Sometimes I chew a toothpick.
Yeah.
Now that I'm missing all these teeth, I don't have it to hold it in there. But I think Razor Ramon is probably who I would pick that I align myself with. He's not really a good guy, not really a bad guy.
Well, he is the bad guy, to be fair.
Yeah, but he was a very beloved bad guy.
He was a very beloved bad guy.
You're talking about like later on. I kind of
no. He was the bad guy, Razor Ramon. He was a spitting image of Scarface. Razor Ramon, the character, was supposed to be Scarface of the wrestling world.
Okay, I didn't pick up on that.
Chico.
Yeah.
It was all very
it
was all very poorly done.
Very fraudulent Cuban.
Yeah.
But I think later on, after I was done with wrestling, like when he was WCW,
right,
he became like a bad guy.
Yeah, but the bad guy, that's when wrestling all changed. That was like Attitude Era wrestling, where at that point, everyone loved the bad guy. That was Stone Cold was a bad guy, but everyone loved him.
Right.
The NWO, they were bad guys. Hulk Hogan became a bad guy and was beloved because he was now a dick.
Right.
And Hulk Hogan honestly was always a dick. So for him to embrace that was huge.
But this is what I'm saying is early Razor Ramon, when I was watching wrestle, WWF Saturday Morning Razor Ramon, Intercontinental Champion Razor Ramon.
With Gorilla Monsoon, Bobby Heenan, and Gene Okerlund.
Right. So he was like he was kind of aired on the side of bad guy because of his character.
Yeah.
Although in the storyline, he didn't really necessarily play bad guy or good guy.
He also
he was just a cool ass dude sitting in the middle of the fence, kicking ass left and right.
Yeah, and he wasn't over crazy. He wasn't like a huge star, and he wasn't at the bottom. He was a solid upper mid card, which is go back to you.
Yeah, here I
you're
am.
A jack of all trades. You're a good
at a lot of things.
Good at a lot of things. Jack of all. And I think that does that works for you.
And I'm pretty sure that he's won the Intercontinental Championship.
He did.
Once or twice.
Yeah. I think he actually in WCW probably won the Heavyweight Championship once or twice.
Yeah, that was again.
Okay, well,
that was after
you missed
my
it.
days.
That's fine. So then, what would it be?
But what that says is that at some point, I got some real serious success coming to me in the future.
Yes, you do.
Because
and you might join the New World Order.
I don't know if maybe.
Okay,
maybe I'm gonna fucking get a vaccine and join the New World Order.
Maybe,
Let's see what happens
I don't
here,
know
Dad.
what happens, dude.
Yeah, I mean.
But what do you think that the global perception of Cove is as far as a wrestler goes? If that's who you align yourself with personally, what do you think others might align you with as a professional wrestler?
Probably Mankind.
Mankind.
I don't know.
I think I'd be more Mankind.
Yeah, you are more Mankind-ish. Who would the world view me as? I think. Now, again, my wrestling knowledge is limited.
Okay.
But I think maybe we're looking at like Stone Cold or the Ultimate Warrior?
Yeah, I would think Ultimate Warrior may be a little bit more, and then also maybe it would be Shawn Michaels because of your masculine metrosexuality.
That's very possible. Why the Ultimate Warrior? Because I just kind of threw that from the hip. What do you think that I align more with the Ultimate Warrior for?
Well, I think maybe your willingness to take anything on with reckless abandon.
Yeah, very. Bah, wigga.
Because Ultimate Warrior didn't give a fuck whether he won or lost. He was there. He wanted to do it.
He was jumping out
he was
the
getting
fucking
it. He
roof.
was shaking the fucking ropes up. People loved him.
Yeah.
Also, now here's where you're not like the Ultimate
Wild
Warrior.
Banshee.
Here's where you're not like him.
Okay.
Is because no one liked working with him. He was, which I like working with you. Anytime
Most
I
guys
get to
do.
work with
Yeah.
you, it's a joy for me to work with you.
Yeah.
But the people didn't like Ultimate Warrior to work with because he was unsafe. He was reckless.
Yeah.
And he just did things that, he was kind of a loose cannon. So
Yeah.
people didn't really know where to come from. So you're not like him that way, but public perception, especially in
Is
the
that
early
maybe
90s,
I'm a little bit of a loose cannon?
no, maybe not that you're a loose cannon, but that you're a warrior.
The ultimate
and that you
kind
might
of
be
warrior.
ultimate. See, I think that maybe people might see me as like a King Kong Bundy, like this
Okay.
kind of like a big
Okay.
gorilla of a man that
Yeah.
is just like, in his own mind might be a unstoppable force,
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I think that where I align with or where I'd like to align with would be like a Roddy Piper because he was very controversial and he was a lot. He was a lot to handle, and he came off the hip. All his interviews were like shoot interviews where he just kind of said whatever he said. They weren't scripted, and he just kind of went off his head. And, at one point, he had blackface, right? He wore blackface when he fought, I think it was either Zeus or Junkyard Dog, but I believe it was Zeus. Rest in peace, Debo. But he wore blackface, and he put blackface on half of his body in a crazy interview, and then he used, like, tar. So it didn't come off of him for weeks. So he was walking around airports and all this shit wearing blackface. Now, this is a time in the 80s where that was totally okay. He was
could get that off.
generating tons of heat. They also made wrestling figures of Roddy Piper in blackface.
I
so
never saw
we
those.
saw how crazy times have gotten. But I think that how divisive Roddy Piper is. That's who I would most like to,
You want to be Roddy Piper.
I would like to view myself in the vein of Roddy Piper. Correct.
Okay.
I do like this kind of conversation, though. This kind of conversation where you equate people to wrestlers is kind of fun. I just like that, especially 80s, 90s wrestlers. It's nice to be like, who would he be?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Who do we know who's a Ric Flair? Right? Who's Ric Flair?
Well, you got to have someone who's styling and profiling.
Yeah.
And you got to have limousine riding, jet flying son of a gun.
Yeah.
So who is that?
Who is like the the flashy, loud, kind of.
Screw's a little flashy, but he's not loud.
He's not loud. No. He's too relaxed. He's more of a.
He's like a Rob Van Dam a little bit, to me.
I'd say he's kind of a Bret Hart.
Okay.
I
like it. I like you as a Bret Hart a little bit.
I'm okay.
More.
Yeah, well, that's like the.
Because that's like he's a little understated a little bit.
Like
he's
the all-Canadian boy.
Yeah, he's
a technician.
Yeah.
I like that because I feel.
You know who's Bret the Hitman Hart? J.O.
Okay. See, I was going to equate.
J.O. could also, here's the thing about J.O. He has it all, right? But he doesn't dress like someone like Ric Flair would be.
Sometimes I once saw him walk out in a Hanes white T-shirt, white shorts, and a pair of white Gucci loafers.
Yeah. I'm not saying that he's not dressed like he's made of money, but the public perception of that is not made of money because it's
he dresses pretty regular.
and sweatpants.
Yeah. He dresses pretty regular.
But I can't think of anybody off the top that is Ric Flair. Like fuck, man, because you can't really get to that level and just be a regular ass dude.
What about It's Great to Be Blake?
It's Great to Be Blake.
You can't give him Ric Flair? Like, if he had a little bit more paper.
No.
Let's call him Ric Flair.
No, he's not Ric Flair. He's more of a maybe Kevin Sullivan, which I might be missing you on this one.
Definitely.
But Kevin Sullivan was like the leader of the dungeon, and they were like a group of misfits.
Okay.
Or maybe that would I don't know, man. I think Blake is kind of like a character upon himself, so I don't know who that would be. It's almost Mankind-ish a little bit because he's just in his own. He's in his own realm. He's in his own world a little bit. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a good one, but he's not Ric Flair. He's definitely not Ric Flair.
Okay. I was ready to start going into being a technician and relating it to my BMX life because I was really killing it yesterday. I am, and I'm going to announce it here for the entire world to hear.
Of course.
Today is August 9th. Yesterday was August 8th.
Okay.
So as of September 8th, I will be doing hop tail whips.
That's incredible, man. I'm very, very, very proud of you, man.
Well, I didn't do it yet.
But you will be.
I'm going to do it.
You're very close.
This is the thing. I think that this is a thing that happens to me, right? I get into something. This is why I am good at a lot of things, right? I get into something, and then I am obsessive about that thing, which goes back to my junkster behavior, right?
Yeah.
That whatever that thing is, I become obsessive with it. Why I got good at rapping in such a short period, because I was locked up and I didn't have anything else to do.
Yeah, that was
so
it.
I obsessively wrote raps, you know, and like they sucked at the beginning, but I just kept writing them and kept writing them and kept writing them until like they came out and they were decent, right? I work out obsessively. Why I stay fit, because I have to fucking be in the gym every day.
Yeah.
I started riding a fucking BMX bike at 33 years old, and now at 35, I'm like not bad at it.
Yeah, right.
You know, like I'm okay at it. Hopefully, that same behavior translates into this podcast and shit, where this continues to grow and get better and get nicer because of.
We'll just stay addicted to it. I think I surround myself with tons of ex-junkies, and all of them are using their junkie nature to become better people at this point in their life. Because if not, they're dead. They're either dead or they're using that addictive personality trait to become obsessive. My buddy Mark, who I do Dumb Ugly with, he went from not doing anything for whatever it was, 7 years, right? And then became obsessive with weed. I introduced weed to his life because he was a crazy person, and I felt like weed might have helped him. He was thinking about it, and so I helped him out with that.
Right.
Then he became obsessed with weed, right? And he was doing RSO, and he was doing this, and he was doing that. Now he's going to open up a reptile farm somewhere. The guy has maybe, 70 reptiles in his house, you know? And he has a partner that has a very similar house to reptile ratio, where he's going to go in and they're going to start this thing. A lot of these people that, if they can channel that shit, become fucking extraordinary human beings because of that trait. Yeah. I almost wish I was at one point, because I don't feel that way about anything. I don't feel like addicted to even things that I'm crazy good at. I don't feel addicted to. I'll go in swings of all things. No, I don't know. But it's good that Biz Markie's dead, and I'll tell you why it's good that Biz Markie's dead.
It's good. Dickhead.
It's good that Biz Markie's dead, because now there's just one.
Now there's only one Biz.
Because it used to be, now in 30 years from now, when people search Biz on YouTube, maybe they won't get Markie. Maybe they'll only get Mighty.
Yo, I'm glad that. No, I think Biz Markie is.
I think
probably
it's really cute that you think that.
I'm sorry
it's really
to do
cute.
this to you.
It's not.
I don't want to be the guy.
He has one song.
You know what? Let me not do it.
You got one song.
Let me not do it. You're probably right.
Yeah,
30
it's
years
gonna
from
be
now,
me.
you're going to be the only Biz that matters.
Well, I happen. If you search me on a non-biased YouTube and you go Biz M, it used to be that you had to do Biz MIG, and then I'd come up. But if you try it, do Biz M right now and see what comes up. But after Biz Markie.
Bismarck.
I don't got nothing.
Hold on, Biz Space M. It's just a whole bunch of Biz Markie songs. You got to restart. You got to start over again.
Well, it's been a little while.
And it's also because he just died, so he's you know what I mean? Dead rappers get better promotion.
Yeah, for a little while.
Here's that same shit happened with the Gig podcast. I named it the Gig, and then got the fucking logo done, started the fucking pages, and then found out that there was another The Gig podcast.
Did it backwards.
But we have surpassed them now. 26 weeks, 20, 30, whatever it is, half a year in, we surpassed what they've done.
I don't know if people understand that 2 Gs and a microphone is a brilliant way
it's pretty good, isn't
bring
it?
in.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know that and you just think it's the Gig podcast, you don't really get it. But when you see the logo and you see what's really going on here and you get it, you get it.
Yeah.
And then with our thing, with the GBMC, no one knows. And that's kind of what you get out of this, you know?
You never really know what you're going to
don't know
get
what the
once you
fuck's
turn
gonna
it on.
happen here.
But people like that too. I mean, but that's why people tune in to you, right? Because like Biz goes live, people are like, let's see what it is. He might be rapping. He might be crying.
Yeah.
He might be fucking fighting with himself about cleaning his bedroom. You know what I mean? Like, you never know what you're going to get. And that's what happens here at GBMC. You don't know
I come out
what
and
lane
I
you're
try
coming
to
in.
cancel myself at any given opportunity.
Yeah.
Because if you do it to yourself, it can't be done.
Yes.
I think I'm uncancelable. Cancelable.
2 G's and a microphone. There was something. Oh yeah, that's what I'm good at. I'm really good at ideas.
Yeah, you're an idea guy.
I am, and if I could find a career being an idea guy, I would probably wind up with all the success that I need. Do you ever feel like you deserve success?
I think I used to.
Okay.
I don't think that I feel like I deserve anything. I've been trying to get into my head a little bit to where I align my beliefs, because I often sit in the middle now too. I used to be like everyone else, where I would stand firmly on my beliefs and shit down everyone's throat and hope to be proven wrong. That's what a lot of people I don't think understand about me when I come across very conflicted or very aggressive in conversations, is that I expect you to now defend your point and to change my mind. And I don't think people get that necessarily, because it's happened many times in my life where I stand on my own too, and I deliberately say, this is what I believe and this is why I believe it, and then someone says, yeah, but this. And I go, fuck. And then all of a sudden, everything that I just stood on crumbles down beneath me, and then over the years of that happening, that's where I stand in the middle. But I don't necessarily think I deserve success. I do think that I have not reached my potential, and I used to think that was a sad thing, where I didn't reach my potential. But now I realize that I have plenty of time left to reach my potential. And I think that maybe in the upswing of my life that I'm in right now, that I get there soon. Or I get to the point where I feel like, oh, I'm doing all the things right that I'm supposed to be doing, and this is when things happen. I also think speaking things into fruition and being open to things and not being negative all the time helps. When all that stuff, it just kind of circulates. The other day, I was like super manic. I forget what the fuck was I doing? It was Sunday. Sunday, I got home, and there was a part of me that missed relationships. Now, it's the first time in weeks where I felt like, oh, I really would like to fall asleep with a little hand on my chest. It would be nice to switch that up. I forgot about that for a little while, and as I forgot about that, I worked on myself, and it didn't matter to me about any of that stuff. Yeah. Hall & Oates plays Sarah Smile. I got emotional while he played it because he was fucking letting it rip. You know what I mean? And it seems like every time he plays that song, he's back in that place. It's the same place that he wrote that song. Even though it was 40 years ago. Right. It still feels so fucking real. And as we're walking up, you see a lot of people in relationships laying on the lawn, hand on the hip, all the good stuff. And I'm there with Miles, which is
fucking
cute.
Cutesy.
It's cute to be there with Miles, and it'd probably be a way better time than being there with a girlfriend, right? Because we're gonna have fun.
Quite possibly.
And he almost went there with his mom. I got the ticket because his mom backed out, right? So I just got the ticket. So it was all good for me.
Right.
And then the same thing with him. It's like he wouldn't have snuck down and got to the fucking 18th row back to watch Hall & Oates with his mom. Yeah. And, and when you're there with your girl, you don't have fun. Like, he wouldn't have been maybe front and center for Craig Robinson being funny with me and making Craig, make us part of his set. So there's part of it that is – so there's like a part of being single that's fucking awesome where I don't have to say anything. The other day I ate watermelon naked on my couch, and I dripped watermelon all over the rug, and I didn't fucking care. Yeah. Because no one's there to tell me, did you wash your ass before you sat on the fucking chair naked and ate watermelon? Right. And I don't have to worry about that. I come home whenever the fuck I want to come home. You know what I mean? Right. I do whatever I want to do. So there's the good part of that. But then the loneliness was creeping in the other day. Okay. So I come back. My daughter stayed at my mom's house. I didn't get home until whatever it was, 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. My daughter was sleeping on the couch at my mom's house. I was going to wake her up. I just stayed at my mom's house. I watched the Derek Lewis fight. Derek Lewis lost. I almost threw $1,000 on that fight because I had a dream about it 3 months ago that he knocked Cyril Gane out before this fight was even announced.
I'm glad you didn't throw $1,000.
I'm very happy I didn't. I'm happy I didn't throw anything on it, to be honest. And I'm a huge Derek Lewis fan, which is probably when you lead with your emotions, you get fucked up, right? Yeah. So I'm glad that I didn't do it. I was really sorry that he lost that fight. But regardless, I watched that fight. Wake up the next day, go home to my apartment, and find out that my freezer's wide open. For whatever reason, when I left my apartment, I left my freezer wide open, and shit was dripping down the front of my refrigerator. Kid. Yeah. So I ruined, I don't know, $50 worth of food, right? Yeah. I got to eat the shrimp, right, because I just ate them as soon as I got home. But besides that, everything was basically ruined. And it just really depressed me. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what did I do where I'm opening the freezer before I'm leaving and not coming back for a day later, right? Yeah. So it just pissed me off, and I felt like I screamed a little bit. My daughter saw me scream a little bit. I cursed a little bit, and I put myself in the shower, and like a fucking grown bitch, I laid in the shower. and just sat in the shower like a depressed motherfucker would
Because
do.
you
Because
left the
I left
fucking
my
door
fucking
open?
freezer open, man, and I ruined food.
You're a special type of breed.
I hated it.
Here's what happened. Thanks, baby. Wrong one. Yeah. The little, the little one that I put the banana in?
Do you want to try this? Where I got it? You want to try this?
What's that?
It's Fruit Monster. It's the thing you were talking about
No,
last time.
I'm not going to fuck up my shit with that. I don't want to
Okay.
fuck up.
You know what? I liked it when I had a little bit of this left and I put in the banana on top.
Yeah.
Shoo, a little
combo.
banana ice, dude. A little bit. It was like a banana bread with like a fruit medley. I don't know, man. It was
Yeah.
all right, but I'm big on the ice.
Anyway.
What a soldier she is, you know?
She's good. She's good.
Great at it.
She saved our life the other day. That's what I was going to tie this into.
Talk to it.
If I was alone, as you are,
Uh-huh.
kick a little more dust on you. I would have podcasted the other night with Payday here, and sometimes we light a candle to set the mood.
Okay.
An amber suede
You and
scented
Payday
candle.
or you and your wife?
No, me and Payday.
Okay.
Right? And then we finished podcasting at midnight. I shut the air conditioner off in the other room, turned the fan off, turned the lights off, gather all my shit. I forgot to blow the candle out.
Oh, shit.
I'm pretty sure the next morning or the next afternoon, she came up here for something and comes walking downstairs with a candle full of wax like, hey, asshole.
Yeah.
Well, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
I'm like, sorry, Mom, I didn't mean to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to almost light the house on fire.
Yeah, I think that it's always better as we get older to have somebody, right? Because eventually there's no game in fucking being alone when you die. I see people alone, like my mom, you know what I mean? I see her old and alone, and I see her becoming more and more like a person destined to be alone because of being alone. Makes you almost not acquiesce to others and not fucking live your life accordingly to people around you. When you have someone to come back to that holds you accountable for your bullshit, which hopefully your relationship does in any circumstance.
Right.
It just to fucking hold you accountable. That's really it.
No, you need somebody to help you make sure you close the freezer and not burn the house down.
Yeah.
I agree.
So many times I've left the oven on.
I agree. You need to have one person that you can depend on to like call for this, that, and the third, to ask to go grab your vape juice when you're in the middle of a podcast.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
Soldier
to keep
shit.
you moving.
Yeah, that's the good shit.
So-
I had this manic episode. I was going crazy in my head. I'm losing my mind. I left the freezer out. I ended up coming back out. We watched a movie or whatever it was, and we chilled out, and everything was okay. Daddy okay? You know what I mean? Yeah, Daddy's okay. Is Daddy crying? Daddy's a little crying. I'm okay, though. We're going to be okay. And I shook it off, and I got with my shit. But I was feeling alone. And it honestly came back to that Sarah Smile shit, right? So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I really want to smoke a bowl right now.
Yeah.
And my guy texts me, and he's been texting. Now he has 3 unanswered texts from me because of how long I haven't smoked weed, because he just sends me his menu.
Yeah.
And I'm not smoking weed. But he just sent me one that day, right? And it was fucking the weed that I like, the green crack. And I really like that weed.
Love that
and it's
shit.
it was relatively inexpensive for my liking.
Yeah.
And I was close. And I went into my group chat and I said, hey, man, I'm thinking about smoking weed. What do you guys think about that? And he was like, well, don't be a faggot. You know what I mean? Like, you could probably, he's like, Miles actually was telling me in the group chat, he said, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. If you feel like you need to smoke weed, you're not going to be a lesser person for smoking weed. But he's like, you're doing good without it. And then he said, he shared something, like Tyler, the Creator, was talking about, he was talking about Jada, and he was also talking about just being himself. And it was a good little interview of Tyler, who I'm not a huge fan of his music, but I'm a huge fan of him. I think that he's cool. And he's fun. He's kind of a troll. But he was like, Tyler's been straight edge forever. And for whatever reason, that just got to me. And I was just like, all right, I can do the straight edge thing.
Yeah.
I don't need the fucking other shit. And it got to me where I was like, okay, but I almost smoked weed because I almost gave in to fucking feeling like a bitch. And that's what weed does. Weed makes you complacent with your nonsense.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, the world sucks. I'll smoke some weed and everything will be okay. Well, it's not okay. You're okay with the nonsense.
Yeah, no. And that's what kind of it takes to – that's the discipline – the discipline it takes to be successful in things like sobriety or fitness or not, bettering your spending habits and shit like that, for me at least, is just what you said. Like, stop being a bitch.
Yeah.
Like,
It really is. That's all it is.
You're not a lame. Like, stop being like, you're going to be, you do this, you're soft because you can't fucking deal with wanting to do something, or you can't deal with the fucking the ill feelings that come with not smoking or not whatever. You know what I'm saying? The
Oh,
whole idea
speaking of that, I
is
got another confession. Can I have another confession?
all right, this is your last one.
I jerked
All right.
off.
Okay.
Jerked off, man. It was 8 days later, and I jerked off.
Whatever, dude.
And when I jerked off, I felt like I deserved it because I didn't smoke the weed, and I had a rough day, and I was like, I'm going to jerk off. And it was a big wad, but it didn't come out strong like I thought it would after 8 days.
Right.
You know what I mean? It came out kind of like a drunk guy throwing up on himself, real limp and
like
stupid.
dribbled a
And
little
just,
bit.
yeah, it was dribbling. It was old man cum. It was not good, powerful, shoots a string.
Yeah, because you were doing it yourself.
I was doing it myself, and it was awful, and I didn't even want to do it. Like I was, I was wearing basketball shorts, and I was kind of doing the little scissors with my legs, and it was getting all warmed up and hot down there and stuff. And I'm like, I'm gonna play with it a little bit, and then I played with it, and it didn't even like react, and I still just got it through. Now I didn't porn, and I didn't anything. I didn't make somebody else be, cheat on their boyfriends or anything like that.
Right.
So whatever, but it was awful, and I hated that. So I got another thing about I'm just touching on it because discipline is key in all these things, and you got to stay it. And it's maybe the hardest part of all of it is staying on top of your shit and being like, don't be a fucking bitch, dude.
Yeah.
Stop being a bitch.
Yeah, man up.
Yeah. I didn't need to come, dude. I didn't need to do it. You know what I mean? I don't know why I did it. I felt like I deserved it. Why did I feel like I deserved it? Because I was sad.
Well,
you
see,
fucking sad and jerk off. Now you're more sad.
Listen, that is more sad, but also
way sadder.
I'm torn between that. I am in luck because I don't spank my monkey, but I'm also a married man with a healthy sex life.
Yeah. That's the hardest part. I mean, you could no fap November all you want, but if you have nobody to have sex with, it's not even fair. It's not even fair, bro.
Yeah.
December 1st, I'm blowing a hole through my door.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we went to the pool today. So I sat at the Volvo dealer for fucking, 7.5 hours. I sat at the Volvo dealer. And fucking, I realized that as I'm there and they're putting new sensors on my thing, that I could have probably had this done by anybody else. Like maybe not anybody else. I wanted to go to the Volvo dealer because I wanted the car to be fucking done right. But as I'm looking it up, I'm like, all right, these parts are fucking $300.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I couldn't, now that I know what's wrong with it, couldn't I now go to someone and say, yo, I need sensors done on this thing. Can you do it? I'll give you $300 to do it. And I would have saved $1,300.
Yeah.
Then afterwards, I go to the pool. My daughter wants to do something. She sat with me the whole fucking time, and she was really a G. I actually literally took a nap on the floor at the Volvo dealership because I didn't give a fuck. And I was also kind of angry because the lady had the paperwork at fucking 2 o'clock, but I wasn't able to get out of there until 3 o'clock.
Right.
So just give me my fucking keys. I'll give you the fucking money, and you give me my fucking car, and I get the fuck out of here. I have a 7-year-old daughter. You're not. There's other people coming in to pick up their shit. I'm fucking here the whole time, dude.
Yeah.
Give me my shit. And then I go to the pool, and I was getting eyes. Here's the problem with the pool, the public pool.
What's the problem
This
with
is
the
the
pool?
first time I go to a public pool, right?
Yeah.
And years since I was a kid.
Okay.
But I used to go to my mom's pool, and her pool's closed this year because they fucked up the masonry. I think I talked to you about this before. Yeah. So they closed it. It's a beautiful pool, but you can't go in it because they were fucking retarded. So I go to this public pool because Dahlia loves swimming. It's her favorite thing in the world. She acts like a complete maniac because she loves it. She's dancing. She's being goofy. She's usually a shy, reserved kid, but all of a sudden she's fucking Bobcat Goldthwait in the water. She's fucking out of her fucking gourd.
Okay.
All right? So I'm having fun with my daughter. We're doing all fun stuff, and I'm getting eyes from these girls. And these girls that are there,
they love a single dad.
they're probably 15 years old,
man.
16, 17.
Geez.
I don't know how fucking old they are, Sean. I can never go to a public pool again in my life. I can't. I'm not acting on anything. I'm not even looking. My eyes are to the sky.
I believe that you aren't.
Okay?
Yeah.
But you can't put yourself in these positions to be a semi-attractive male dad at the pool with hot, thick Puerto Rican 17-year-olds looking at you like you're a snack.
Yeah, but maybe they were 19.
Well, no, maybe they were, but I cannot put it into my head that they were 19 years old because if they were 17, I have no justice. You know what I mean?
Well, you could have asked them how old they are.
No, I cannot. Could you imagine if you had a 17-year-old daughter and some grown-ass 30-plus-year-old man came up to your 17-year-old daughter and asked her how old she was? No, it's not cool, man. You can't do it. What I'm telling you is that you cannot go to a public pool as a semi-attractive man in your 30s.
Okay, I won't.
You can't do it. So I'll never go to a public pool again.
I won't. And I'm glad that you won't either, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, it was awful. It wasn't awful. I mean, it felt good, but then I was like, it feels good? Like, that's a fucking child. I don't know how old she is.
Yeah, but maybe not.
Maybe not. But if it's maybe.
Here's the thing, bro. This is the thing. And I've said this for many a moons, right, is that I can't help who's looking. All I could do is look good for them. And that goes for men, women, of age or not. And if they are not of age, you just got to ignore that they're even looking at you.
Yeah, but back to my loneliness, it's weird to even avoid that they're looking at you because there's a part of it that makes you feel good. I don't know how old she is back again, right? Or they are, or whatever it was, right? I don't know. You don't know. Nowadays with the hormones in the chicken, these women are fucking thick at 13 years old. I can't help this shit.
I know.
But I'm not looking. But it doesn't help that they're wearing thong bikinis at the fucking state pool, you know?
Yeah. Where's the pool at?
We went to the Chamonix State Park.
They got a pool at the state
They got
park?
a pool there, and it was decent because it was a Monday, right?
Yeah.
So there's nobody really there.
You got to take her to the waterfall, bro.
Where's that?
It's a ride. It's down in Maryland, but the
Okay.
waterfall is dope.
It's like a lake that you hang out at?
No, it's a waterfall that you can fucking hop in and go swimming.
Yeah. And it's like clear, good water. You can,
I was swimming in it,
yeah. Well,
you know?
you swam in a lot of things, I'm sure.
I did.
Okay.
But it wasn't. It's moving water in the fucking forests of northeast Maryland.
Yeah. I'm with it. There's shit like
cool.
that up in like the Pocono area too, where there's waterfalls and nice little like fucking, you know, whatever that's mineral water and all the good stuff.
Yeah, this shit was cool.
I got to do stuff like that.
All right, man. We put in almost 2 hours here.
That's good, man. I think that's the call.
Yeah. So, this depending on where you're tuning in at, you could also tune in other places if you'd like. You could check us on YouTube. We're on Facebook on my
Twitch.
page. I think, Biz, I don't know if they're watching via you or if you share it and then they get to this same feed
I don't
or
know
how
it
that
works.
kind of works.
I'm technologically not okay.
Yeah, I'm even less okay, and I'm the guy running the board. So
well, you're
that's,
doing a great job. And you got Reef coming in on Friday with Paygay,
Yeah.
which is great. And then we got a huge show on Monday.
Huge show on Monday.
Mega.
The Monday show might dwarf Reef.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, with the guests that we got coming in.
Well, it's gonna be. It's like comparing. Who would Reef be? The comparison to if our guest on Monday is the Steve Wilkos show, or the Jerry Springer.
Then fucking Reef is Family Feud.
Reef is Steve Harvey and Family Feud.
Yeah, huge show.
Or Richard Dawson. I mean, or Dawkins. Dick Dawson. Richard Dawson.
I don't
It's
know who
Richard
he was.
Dawson, not
Huge,
Dawkins.
huge
Two
show,
totally different
popular,
people.
great show.
Yeah.
Just not as exciting as Steve Wilkos.
Yeah, Steve Wilkos. It's going to get filthy on Monday.
It just
and I'm
might.
excited.
It
Very
just might.
excited about it.
Well, then I'll see you back here next Monday. Again, you can check us out on YouTube, on this Facebook, wherever you're watching us now. We got episodes of this and the gig on both of those spots. And we also have the audio only on Spotify
Everywhere.
and iTunes and Google Podcasts
Legit.
and all that.
And Twitch, too.
We're doing it like
Right?
we're a real podcast. You know what I'm saying?
It's basically a real podcast.
It's basically a real podcast. The only thing we're missing is you telling your friends about it so that we can get some more people listening, which then gets us to grow, which gets more people to listen. We can have people calling in, guests coming through. It's just going to go up from here.
Support better podcasts. So many people support their friends doing podcasts, and they suck at podcasts. I don't care about all the fucking bullshit you got with your podcast. You suck at podcasts.
We don't
Not
care.
you.
We don't-
We're good at podcasts. This is a good podcast.
We don't care about your Just for Today podcast.
No.
We don't care about your yoga podcast.
I don't give a fuck.
We really don't care about any of your. This is the only This and the gig is the only podcasts we care about. It's the only podcast you should care about.
The only podcasts you should be watching are podcasts that take place in this room and podcasts that are globally established.
Well, we need your help to get globally
We need to be globally established.
We deserve it.
Stop supporting your fucking whack friends at podcasts and listen to a good podcast like The Gig or GBMC.
This is what I'm saying, bro. I feel deserving.
Yeah, you deserve success.
I deserve success. So, that being said, we do appreciate it. Humbly, I appreciate you guys all coming through, stopping through, hanging out for. And follow the YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube. Let's kind of try and boost that thing up. And,
Get that
and
YouTube popping.
let's get it popping over
Know what I'm
there.
saying? We outside.
We're actually inside.
We inside, but it's always outside.
But mentally, we outside.
We outside with it.
You know what I'm saying? Like the aura of a couple of cats who are outside.
Yeah, man.
And all day I was outside. That's why my complexion is so bronze.
You know what I'm saying? That's why this motherfucker look like he jumped the wall.
Yeah, she.
I hear you.
All right, Biz, I'm going to see you next week if I don't see you before that.
We always stay doing work.
We
Out.
out of here. I think.
GBMC.
Maybe we're out of here. Maybe
we might be out of here. We might not be out of here.
There goes the volume.
And we out.